Mistrust doesn't happen overnight, and it does indeed develop progressively through stages. Some study that I've done recently just paint a very glaring picture. And if we can recognize these stages, when we are in them, we have a chance of addressing the situation before distrust takes root. And when distrust becomes rooted, it's not the end of it. Something can still be done about it if we are willing. So the first stage that I identified is doubt. You start to experience a slight uncertainty about someone's trustworthiness that causes you to, pause and just have a bit of a think. It might be a nagging doubt in the back of your mind that you can't seem to dismiss, or something that just doesn't feel right about a situation, even though you can't really put your finger exactly on it. And when that is not checked, it progresses to suspicions. Okay, over time, doubt grows into suspicion. And suspicion I define simply as having a strong belief without proof. And this is giving rise or born out of making observations of a pattern of behavior that may indicate a lack of trust, but you don't quite have enough proof to make a firm conclusion. But in you feel that there could be something wrong. And when that's not that goes unchecked, it creates the third stage of distrust, which is anxiety, a feeling of apprehension or uneasiness that is often manifested physically. When dealing with someone who you don't quite trust, you may experience nervousness, which is also anxiety. At times your heartbeat might be rapid, it might go up. You might have knots in your stomach, your solar plexus might compress. You might get angry or even display a level of disgust at the person's action. That is when distrust has grown into anxiety. Then it breaks into the point of fear. At this point in a relationship, then distrust has risen to the point where you are afraid to show your vulnerability, because you may give yourself the reason that you have experienced repeated breaches of trust and have now grown to distrust the person you're with to the point that you are afraid for your own emotional well-being. Then it climaxes with you being overly protective of yourself. The self-protection, a combination of fight and flight. So as a result of the fear you experienced, you will move into a state of self-protection where you put walls around yourself, even though you are in a relationship, to prevent the other person from getting close and hurting you. And this act of self-preservation is done with the aim of you reducing your vulnerability, but it also dangerously cements the state of distrust in a relationship. I believe that trust is the cord that holds two people together in a relationship, and when it's severed, disconnection occurs. And when you can no longer be vulnerable with the other person, you begin to experience different things in your relationship, which could be at the initial stages you experience a withdrawal. So instead of actively or being carefree in an atmosphere, or which is normal in any trusting relationship, you become more reserved in sharing personal information, and you quit taking risk in the relationship because you believe that your safety net has been removed, and it introduces feelings of deadness, of frozenness inside, and loneliness. Okay, and that could also show itself in movement to tax to compensate for the lack of trust in a relationship. So you might overly invest yourself in tasks that relates to your hobbies or work or school or church or other activities just to distract yourself. And common these days in our world is taking comfort in our phones and relationships outside of the ones that we're in, because it gives us a pseudo safety mentality that makes us feel that we are safer elsewhere than we are where we supposed to be with our loved one. And this can cause people to shut down. They one other dangerous finding I found is when you then move on to becoming an unbalanced giver, where you are okay or you are happy to give everything in a relationship and avoid receiving because you do not want to have your expectations dashed. When it gets really worse, people develop bad habits, comfort eating, excessive drinking, and all other forms of addictive behavior, like even masturbation. And the danger is also when people begin to deny themselves of things that they would naturally have, because they associate their love and their trust with those things, and they begin to deny themselves of it because they have reached the height of distrust. Yeah.